Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
The people now who are watching, they might think that I poisoned her, right? And
Right.
I might get the police on my door. Just hello.
Welcome to the Comedians in Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Fadi Dalloul. Fadi, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. First of all, it's my pleasure being here with you, Kinan, and talk about comedy. My name is Fadi Dalloul again. I'm based in Toronto. I was born and raised in Syria, and now, again, I'm based in Toronto. I'm an actor for film and theater, and cinematographer, and inspired writer.
Awesome. Well, Fadi, that's awesome. So it sounds like you're right in line with what we're gonna talk about. So should we get started? Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comment section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me.
Sure, yes, please go ahead.
All right. All right. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So, Fadi, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
Of course, there is a lot of difference between comics and comedians. Comics happens every time, anywhere, anyone can do it. But comedian always have a strategy. And sorry again, my apologize for my language. Sometimes I make a grammar mistake. But again, I don't want to disconnect from the topic. Comedians always have a strategy. They know what they want to do. They always have a plan. They live in the moment of the performance of what's going on. If it's on screen, if it's on stage, it's also different as well.
So, Fadi, you don't need to apologize for your grammar because it's excellent. I haven't heard anything that would suggest otherwise. So, if it were not, which I would suggest trying to mess up your grammar, it might be funny. So, right? So, all right. So, first question, role of persona in comedy. How much of the comedian's voice is a character versus the real self?
It's all about the character. It's also about the story. When you are adapting and trying to do something, there is always a behavior you need to amplify in your character, in your breath, in your voice, in the way how you look at the things. I believe that's always happen in the moment. So this is also follow up with a strategy, knowing the audience. Of course, like if you are hosting a comedy stand-up, you might not know your audience, but according to the city you are living in, you have expectations. You have expectations about society, the people, how they think. You can look at the faces and you can look if there is any diversity or not as well. That's something could be tricky and judgmental sometimes, but it's a part of it.
It is a part of it. So you mentioned one thing which I have not yet touched on, which is the idea of the host, the MC, master of ceremonies. So I'm curious why you mentioned that. Is this something you've experienced a bit of where there's some disconnect between the performers and the MC?
I'm not sure quietly if I understood your question perfectly.
Well, how have you
Um,
been to a lot of comedy shows?
Yes, I did. I did some. I did some, and I used to perform some.
Okay.
But in Arabic, in English, not yet.
Well, in Arabic, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter what language if you're, you're performing for an audience which is Arabic speaking. So you did stand up in Arabic and you had a
Yeah.
host that perhaps was not providing you the right support. Is that true?
Oh yes. I guess like one of the shows that I didn't like comedy shows, the one that based on sexual stuff. Um, I find it a cliche. It's always funny, but you always find something particular in these jokes. So
Mhm.
you feel like I heard this one before, or this is not new to me, or it's not making me laugh, you know.
Mhm.
But again, when you said there is a character in it, the comedian should bring their own personality, their own life, because you are presenting something, right? So it's supposed to be a little bit based on yourself, even if you are doing a fake story. But of course, you inspire from yourself. So the character that you come in, this is the most important. And again, the opening, like the scene opening, what's happening, it's all about it. You catch the audience or you lose them.
So you did bring up a really good point about the sexual content. So for
Yeah.
many people that don't know, if say you're going to be on a cruise ship, there are in many cruise ships mandatory blue material. It's going to be a sexual theme for one of the shows, mandatory. So you actually need that kind of material. So for a comedian who's not necessarily geared that way, they have to do it if they want to be on that cruise ship because they do one clean show for the kids and one
Mhm.
sexual show for the reason why everyone's on the cruise ship. So that's something that may drive people into a certain level of inauthenticity. So the question is, does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
Uh, Illusion is a part of the magic, but of course, it's based on authenticity. Does that make sense? Or
It
I'm
does.
being weird?
No, you're not being
Like,
weird. You're not elaborating though.
uh,
You're just answering the
okay.
question.
I tell you it in different words. Like, have you heard of word magic realism? Like something look very real, but it's
Mhm.
magic, kind of chemical stuff. Like if you, I don't know, there is a powder like soda in Arabic called ili.
Mhm.
If you mix it with oil, it's become like a milk, and it
Mhm.
becomes sauce for hummus and something like that. So it's based on the natural thing. But what you are doing, it seems like magic, right? So this is the thing that I was trying to say.
So just to touch on that, does a third thing happen when you mix the two together?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
powder and water and oil. Just suddenly, these all together make a liquid. It's like a milk. Suddenly,
Okay. So
when you put the powder in the water, it's just like stay clean water. When you add the oil, here the magic starts.
got it. Well,
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, when you say milk, does it? I,
it
we're
look
gonna.
it looks like milk. It looks
Oh,
like
it
milk.
looks. I see. I see. I see.
Yeah. But
Got
becomes
it.
sauce for something different. Yeah.
Well, let's go to the next question. So, punching
Sure.
up versus punching down. Where do comics versus comedians stand on this? So, let me put it in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
Um, I don't think so, but he did play a very hard and big part of it. Yes.
Okay.
And
All
it
right.
was it was a jump. It was a jump, I guess in comedy, you know. Um,
Did this actually
I don't,
happen?
mm, I'll tell you later.
Fair enough. Fair
Um,
enough.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah,
So is the audience agreement with this comedian a form of permission or alignment?
I guess alignment.
Okay. There's no permission at all?
Mm, you don't need permission when you make art. When I hear word permission, doing art, doing comedy, oh, that's a turn off.
It
You need
is.
always as an actor or as a performer or comedian, you need to not be shy. Of course, you need to be open. That's why you see a lot of comedians do this sexual content, because they want to bring boundaries with their own audience and make them comfortable. Some people feel uncomfortable doing like listening to this content. But yeah, there are also shows like based on specific topics where our people, they are just comedians. Like they are just funny people, and they go on a stage, they do like a speech a minute or two, and they make everyone laugh, while someone is trying too hard to play funny, and doesn't work for him or her, or
So,
them.
so if I can, so I can interrupt. I would say that it doesn't work for them because they are doing the one word that you used, which is speech, a monologue. Comedy is a dialogue, but only one person is
Yeah.
speaking. But only one person is
Um,
speaking. That's the.
for me, to be honest, on my own experience, my little
Mhm.
experience in doing stand-up comedy, my style is always interacting with the audience. Like I feel the audience are other actors with me. This is the way how I take it a perspective. So I let them play with me, let them be themselves, let them tell me something and catch something on them. I don't try to bully as some people do, but I'm not an angel. So I still have this evil side, because they want to hear that. They want to come laugh. They want to
Oh,
be losing themselves, in whatever story they hear. And sometimes when you make it specific about specific person sitting in the audience, it's become just more interesting. And sometimes this not in your script. It become in the moment. You feel like sometimes you become prepare a plan and everything. And while you are in the moment, you feel it's not working. The audience is not interacting with you, even if you did the same show like in different city, or in different city but the same country, uh, and to work that in that place, it shouldn't it might not work in the other place. So always there is always something in the moment. You catch something, maybe someone sneeze, you make a joke, you come, maybe you make a joke about the sneezing, some people laugh, okay? And 10 minutes later, you make the same joke. It's become more laughter. And the more you repeat it, sometimes it become a metaphor. Or
yeah.
if you like if you sneeze and I made fun of you, and then something embarrassing happened and I sneeze, the people will laugh, right?
No, 100%. You're taking it to the next level. If you're creating a metaphor within your own material, within the
Yes.
same set, then you're on point. It's going to take more than 5 minutes, but if you really craft it, you could do it in less than 5 minutes. So
Yes,
let's put
that's
it in.
something. That's
Uh-huh.
something comics can do,
Yeah.
but professional comedians, they can do.
That's a good point. So I would say that's the thing. The first thing, if a comic can do that and repeat it quickly, that would be very, very, that would be excellent. All right, let's put it in. Let's see what you can do. Now I'm gonna see if can you tell a joke in Arabic only for those who speak Arabic that will understand it. But let's put it in the context of the next question. Cultural
Of course.
translation of cultural translation of comedy.
Yeah.
How do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Sure. Do you want me to start talking in English or in Arabic?
I don't know if you have an Arabic joke that you know that
I know I steal from other, like now, because just my brain
Mhm.
like not working to create something new, but I heard like very nice jokes from very famous Arabic comedians, which they are talking about their families. So I will start in Arabic and then I will explain in English.
Perfect.
لما كنت صغير، لما كنت روح على المدرسة، كنت دايما اتسابق أنا ورفقاتي لأعرف مين أكل قتلة أكتر. يجي الصبي بيقول لي والله البابا أكلني بالشحاطة وحبسني بالحمام. يجي أنا بقول له إيه شغلتك بسيطة. أنا البابا ضربني بالقشاط وكسر لي تليفوني وحبسني بالحمام وخلاني بلا أكل 5 ساعات. Here some هون بصير يعني بيغاروا من بعضهم طلاب مين أكل قتل الثاني ولو بيصيروا بيغاروا مين م- مين أكل قتلة أكتر من الأول. فبتصير على شو غيرانين؟ مين أكل قتلة أكتر؟ غيرانين على العنف. Okay. So basically what I said, in Middle East area, unfortunately, till today, children still get beat from like families, mom, father
Mhm.
still hit their children sometimes. Okay. And what?
Were you speaking? Were you two people or one person?
No, one person. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
telling the story. Children will go to school and say, "Oh, I'm feeling sad. My dad hated me and locked me in the washroom." Okay,
Okay.
and the other child will say, "Oh, that's only what happened to you. My dad hit me, locked me in the washroom, and broke my phone and kept me without food for 5 or 8 hours." And here, the conflict starts between who got violence more, and they become jealous from each other. No, my dad did the best, you know, and
That's pretty
everyone.
good. I could see that's the context of that is very good because I could see in the United States, if I tried to tell that joke, it would someone would be like, I could see it not being well received, but in Arabic, I could see
Exactly.
in the
Exactly, because in United States, Canada, or these countries and Europe in general, these things are forbidden, and the government goes strictly to that, and
yeah.
children get teach in school. If someone touch you, you should report it. But in the Middle East, unfortunately, till now, these cases are not still considered very well. So that's why there it's become fun. And I don't know if you have seen many of UGC comedians on TikTok, user generator content, where there are guys dressing like a woman and they make themselves like a mom. Yeah,
Mhm.
and mom like always screaming, cleaning, and this kind of stuff, and they make series from it. Uh, this is really funny for any Middle Eastern person because you can relate for it, right? And you
Yeah.
laugh at it, even if it looks very traumatizing, which I call it like kind of dark comedy, you know. But I have seen many shows based on that, which is present the culture jokes that might work for these people and might not work for those people.
No, I think
So,
that's there's a lot of value in that in this context we're
yeah.
experiencing right now because until you said it and I don't think that way, but when you say it, it's obvious and I can enjoy it because I'm experiencing something I don't normally experience. So it's an
Yeah,
excellent
like,
juxtaposition.
like imagine if you are walking in the street and someone steal from you $200, okay, and you're feeling sad or something, and I come to you and I said, oh, someone steal from me $2,000. here I become more proud.
Yeah.
I got still more than you. You
Yeah.
see, my that teeth was stronger than yours. Whatever,
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to
can't
work on
do
that
the
one. I mean,
same
there's a
thing.
lot of
Yeah, yeah,
material.
yeah,
There's a lot to
yeah.
work with there. So now, would you say that the this is important to the context of this? So would you say the comics are more universal and can use these kinds of jokes while comedians are more culturally specific?
I guess it's more culturally.
But is the comedian more culturally like who's better at this? Would a comic be better at this kind of joke or a comedian?
I guess comedian, because the comedian know how to present it better. I guess, in a way that might look funny or look sad, but make people laugh. Some people, some people laugh about your sadness, especially if you are playing the victim, you know? Uh,
Well, okay. I'm gonna circle back on this for one more second here because the playing the victim part, would you say that's really something that the comedian does? I would argue not, that the comic is showing how others are victims, and that might be the right externalization, the right persona is to look outside of themselves if they're playing the victim. Does that make sense?
it's versatile. It's a versatile. It has its own bright side and there its dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, people don't like to feel sorry about other people. They want to see you in a bad situation and see what you do about it. So the funny part, what you do about it.
Okay, but
Here, if you are playing the victim, okay, here you switch it and you don't lose your audience. Here, because you become the funny villain of the story. Example, I give you example. I play the victim in my ex house. Okay, I used to live with roommates. One of my roommates was very dirty, and she was driving me insanely every day of her mess.
mhm.
So one day I have decided to collect all her mess and put them in the soup that she spent 12 hours cooking it.
Hmm. Okay,
So
that's
yeah, but if I want to tell this joke, first of all, I would talk about my roommate who spent 12 hours cooking a soup and the mess she made about it and I play the victim how I felt and then I tell the trick and I am not the victim anymore.
you're not the victim, but are you the villain or the trickster?
I guess me and my roommate could be the villains and could be the victims in this way because
Right,
now
but
we're both equal
so
as
there's a
characters.
there is, but there's a third element is the trickster because what you did was really I mean, you did a practical joke, right? I mean, no one really got hurt. They didn't eat the
Yeah,
soup and get sick from it because they looked at
yeah,
it and anyone that would know it would say that I'm not going to eat that.
sure.
So it's a practical joke, right? You're not poisoning your roommate or were
No,
you?
no, no, no. No, 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 no.
All right, we'll work on that one. There's a lot of structure for that, but I would argue that perhaps not the villain, more of a trickster, but the villain is close. So
Yeah,
we'll come back to that. I like it. It's good.
sure.
Okay, so crowd work versus crafted work. So I argue if comics riff like doing crowd work and comedians perform like crafted work, reaction videos, where is the sweet spot?
Mhm, mhm. Let me think about it. Mm. I literally have no answer.
It's a complicated
Uh,
question. So there's two things going on. It could be
yeah,
in person or it could be virtual. And also, is it the comic versus the comedian? So we'll put it in more context. So what happens when a
sure.
comic leans too much into crowd work, which can also be the comment section online, or when a comedian gets heckled?
Mm. I guess you always need to be new and you don't need to be falling down with the crowd. Of course, you need to follow the trends. whatever, if it's online or not online. Uh, but your unique voice always that make people come to your show. That's what makes you comedy, make you unique. That's why where people follow you from city to a city. I don't know if that answer your question. I
No,
guess I'm having.
it's a very hard question. This particular question is very complicated. There's no obvious answer, right answer, but it's
Yeah,
more about what's the context. So we'll just move to the next one and see if it
sure.
clarifies itself.
Yeah.
So, a very
Okay.
important question about advertising and self promotion. Who advertises
Mm.
themselves more, the comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast to get the message out today. See you soon.
Or
The magician.
um, I guess a magician.
Why would you say that? Who advertises
Uh,
themselves more? Do you see a lot of
uh,
advertising for magicians?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
and I love them so much. Um, you know what? It's really catchy. That's why it highlighted to me more when you are doing something that doesn't look ordinary, right? That's why I believe magician need more promotion. I guess comedians or people who are already just comedian, those people they don't promote themselves. Those people they just show. They just show up, Talent. It's just a talent. They don't need a promotion. They think and they talk. Or maybe they don't think. Whatever in their heart, it becomes to their mouth and it becomes just natural and flow. um, People who do comedy, I guess they are in the middle where they have the talent, they don't have a lot of practical stuff to practice to promote, other than the way how they think, the way how they inspire, and they take the stories. But nowadays, whatever you need to do, if you are working at Starbucks making a coffee, now you make a promotion for it, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, so do you see it as selling out or is it necessary for survival?
Now it's become necessary. So now everyone, whatever you are doing, you should do a promotion plan for yourself.
All right.
So, so I don't think if you ask me, I would say three parties should invest in a promotions as much they can.
All right.
But, but anyway, I guess the people who are naturally comedy, they don't need to play so hard.
Well,
Once you
that
play,
works for
once you
that.
play hard, once you play hard, you lose it.
Okay. All right. So censorship and offense. Does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point like a magician? What a stupid
Mm.
question.
Offense is really hard, something to deal with, especially on stage, because you have no expectations how the other people might react. Some people might leave the show. Some people might become very dramatic. They might become angry and drive all the things. crazy, you know, sometimes. But again, those people who are going to watch a show, they know it's not about them. They come to watch, to have fun. So I have seen people on comedy show get bullied because they have extra weight, or they are wearing extra makeup or extension for hair, or a short with hair, you know. So yeah, yeah, that something sounds like offensive, but it's fun. It's fun, and the comedian just do it for fun, to make engagement, to uh, to make people have this nerve. Oh, I'm next, and keep the eye contact. So that also helped, because in the eye contact, when you are making a joke, you know how this person is accepting this joke. Is he swallowing it, or is he swallowing it with laughter, or with anger, or with emotions? So here you kind of switch the part again. It depends on the moment. It depends on the moment. And again, confidence, don't need to be shy, whatever. A lot of comedians apologize in a funny way too. So
Right.
so they say sorry somehow, but without, oh, please forgive me, or whatever, you know? It's not like that.
So then who's going to survive better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, or the magician?
Mm, the comedian.
Okay. Not the magician. They can't just disappear and then they made it.
Uh, yeah, I mean, the magician, I guess it's more like a very, very scripted show,
Right.
where the comedy and stand-up comedy, it could be scripted, but it depends again on the moment. I'm repeating this word today a lot: in the moment, in the moment, in the moment, because it's all happened in the moment.
So comedy is commentary. So when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
Uh, a philosopher or creature?
Preacher, like a
Oh, can you
priest.
explain to me what is
A
philo-
preacher
uh,
is a
oh,
religious
yeah, yeah, yeah,
person
yeah.
that
Now I get it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I guess philosophy and religious stuff, they are kind of similar,
Mhm.
but no. I guess it's more philosophy. It's more
Okay.
philosophy.
But the comedian is behaving like the philosopher or like the preacher. So do you see when that happens and do you think that it's good or does it dilute the humor?
I guess it's a dilute for humor.
Most people would
Uh,
agree.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
because
Okay.
because I
So,
you know
yeah.
what? Because you lose some values, you
Uh-huh.
know, and some people really, when they are trying to make jokes, they might lose their self-respect. Like, I give you an example. If you didn't clarify that my ex-roommate saw the dirt in her food, if you didn't clarify that, the people now who are watching, they might think that I poisoned her, right? And
Right.
I might get the police on my door, just hello. You know
Right.
what I
That's the
mean?
difference. That's what I mean is the difference between the trickster and the
Yeah.
villain who's really the nemesis, right? Two different
Yes.
characters. Okay. We have a tradition on the Comedians in Elevators podcast where the previous guest on the episode before yours has a question for you. Now, this person doesn't know
Okay.
who you are yet because it hasn't happened yet. But so
Sure.
Brian Wagner was the previous guest, and his question to you, Fadi, who he doesn't know, is who was your inspiration to do comedy?
Uh, okay. First of all, when I started doing comedy, I was around 10, 11. Okay. So before discovering the comedy style, I was just imitating my teacher in the elementary school. And one teacher caught me. I was speaking like her and trying to do the same physicality, and the older students are laughing, and she
Hmm.
caught me. And then I become in a school like every year after, like when the school end, I made this kind of jokes for all the teachers, and everyone with family laugh. But that was when I was very young. I wasn't taking it as a career, right? I was
Hmm.
like just having fun. But when I watched Hammam al-Hana, which is based about public shower. I don't know, what do you call it? Spa. Yes, you call it like spa. That like a series happened in Syria. It's very old. It's based on comedy and the tricks and this kind of stuff. So when I see Dored Laham, who is one of my favorite Syrian actors, uh, I I said to myself, yes, I want to be comedian like him. He's very successful, and I wish to be 1% of his talent.
Well, only 1%. Now you gotta say that I succeeded in being 0.1%, and you have to take that as, well, I'm trying to fix that joke. But so last
Thank you.
question is about legacy. Who gets remembered? So will the comics Tight Five survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Uh, Culture point of view, it will be more timeless.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that answers that. So Fatty, where can everybody find you online?
I'm on Instagram. You can find me at fadi.dalloul. And also, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. On TikTok, you can find me with French with Fadi, where I did real content teaching English, French. There are some funny stuff there. You can find it. So find me on French with Fadi on TikTok. Yeah.
Very cool,
And
very cool.
also
Well, Fatty,
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Backstage. If you want to cast me, find me on Backstage.
excellent, excellent. Absolutely. That definitely should happen. So we're going to make that happen. So, Fatty, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everybody watching, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day, everyone.